need to be well spent.
Councilman Yee?
Yes.
Councilman Gross?
No.
Supervisor Wrights?
Yes.
Motion defeated, 3 nays to 4 ayes.
No. Motion defeated, 3 votes to 2. Old business. Item 19, consolidation of tax departments. Again, we're working on that. I'm aware that roughly 40% of the tax assessments in Southeast went up in this deteriorating real estate market, and the consolidation of tax departments remains a hot-button issue for me and for others, and we continue to negotiate with the county and with others regarding that. We spoke with county representatives about a week ago, all of us, and we continue to work on that issue. But we don't have a proposal this evening to vote on. Item 20, relocation of county building in the village of Brewster. You have a resolution in your materials regarding the request to Putnam County to remove social services facility from 121 Route 6 in Southeast New York. Whereas the County of Putnam has established a facility to administer and dispense social services, social programs, and social service expenditures at 121 Route 6 in the town of Southeast New York. And whereas the County of Putnam has expended millions of tax dollars, and the total arising from the hosts of various social service programs over the past 15 years or thereabouts is still being tabulated, which have been and are being furnished and transferred to certain persons residing in the vicinity of the county facility at 121 Route 6 in Southeast New York. And whereas the social services provided at 121 Route 6 in Southeast are paid for with tax dollars, and the facility and the programs are administered there and comprise a magnet which has drawn and continues to draw persons who seek assistance from such programs. And whereas the facility has led persons to establish residences in the vicinity of 121 Route 6 in Southeast New York in order to facilitate their participation in the social services, social programs, and transfer payments made available, administered, and dispensed by the County of Putnam.
I'd like to comment on that.
And whereas the facility at 121 Route 6 was removed by the County of Putnam from the property tax rolls of the community, and the facility has been operated on a tax-exempt basis in excess of 15 years, which has degraded revenues to the town of Southeast arising from the municipal tax base, and the shortfall has been unfairly covered for more than 15 years by the property taxpayers of the town of Southeast New York. And whereas the referenced facility is itself expensive to operate, for example, in terms of salaries and benefits to employees, as well as operational overhead costs and similar such costs arising at the facility, which are likewise paid for with tax dollars. And whereas, upon review of the facility and the impacts of its placement and operations on the community, the Town Board of the Town of Southeast agrees and requests removal of the facility and its relocation outside of the Town of Southeast to a place elsewhere or in the alternative dissolution of the facility without replacement, as the County of Putnam may determine. Now therefore be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Southeast requests that the County of Putnam permanently remove the county facility which administers social services at 121 Route 6 in Southeast from the Town of Southeast. And be it further resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Southeast requests that the county forthwith take all necessary and requisite steps which derive from the referenced request. And be it further resolved that the town clerk shall duly furnish a copy of this resolution to the County of Putnam for inclusion in the public records thereof, which shall bear the seal of the Town of Southeast.
I would like to comment on that.
Is there a second?
Second.
Yes,
Discussion.
Councilman Gross.
First of all, I have not seen this resolution. This is news to me. But I did speak with the management of the Community Action Program, and I'd like to tell you a few things of what's actually going on down there. And I asked Supervisor Wrights if you've ever been there, because the two ladies that run the place have never seen you there. I don't know if you're aware of what goes on. For example, Thanksgiving. 425 families were served Thanksgiving dinner by the Community Action Program. Back to school supplies, 800 children in the surrounding area and the village and the town were supplied with materials to get ready to go to school. Holiday toys, 800 children again were given those benefits. Approximately 50% of the folks that use the Community Action Program are Brewster residents, and you have in the 40% bracket Carmel and Mahopac people that come in. You have to prove that you live in the county, a New York State Electric Gas statement or a payroll stub or a letter from an employer in order to be eligible. There also is there's a financial end to it too, what your income can be. Growing segment of the people that use the community action program that take advantage of it are the elderly. Okay, we're seeing a larger percentage of older folks in the community that are taking advantage of the programs. And I was pointed out to me today that one family, they used to be donors and now they're receivers. It gives you some idea of the importance and the credibility of this operation. Food deliveries are also made to homebound people by Hillside Food Outreach. This is to elderly that can't get into town to get it. Just for an added piece of information, the soup kitchen enrollment is down. The amount of day laborers that come in for those activities is also down the last year and a half. And I want to mention that women and infant children up to age 5, supported by the WIC program, are very important. Young children getting the help and support from an agency in Brewster. I think we're fortunate. Also, vaccinations are available. If you're taking a trip overseas, you can go to the child advocacy area and get a vaccination at much less cost. I think it may even be free as opposed to going to your physician. So in wrapping this summary up, we, government, has a responsibility to provide services. And these services affect folks all across the population, okay? There's not one group that's taking more advantage than another, except that the elderly are becoming more and more of the enrollment of folks coming in to get the services they need. That's a responsibility of government. And I think it's important, and I think it's fortunate that we have this operation in our community in order to utilize it.
Thank you, Councilman. I would like to note that there is there's no dispute about the statistics that you referenced. The issue is, do they have to do those things, perform those that work in the town of Southeast? And the answer is, of course, obviously not. Is there further town board discussion?
Yes, I'd just like to say
Yes, Councilwoman.
that I too have, this is the first time I've seen this resolution. And
Pardon me, not to interrupt you, but this resolution was read and voted on in March 2011 by this town board.
all I know is if this is the same resolution that was quote-unquote voted on, and I voted no, and will be prepared to vote no again, there's one thing that's important to me is that we exhibit a social conscience. And the interesting part is we're talking this evening about having family gatherings and fireworks, because isn't that important? Isn't that important that we all get together and have that good feeling? After all, would you vote and not have a turkey and not have Christmas lights? And here we are taking away milk from women with infant children. Here we are taking away monies and benefits for senior citizens. That's what we're doing here. I'll just note that, I mean, there's items in here, whereas the County of Putnam has expended millions of tax dollars. To the best of my knowledge, the supervisor hasn't met with the county in any substantive way to even have that made as even a close, credible statement. How about the fact that, how about the facility and the programs administered there comprise a magnet which has drawn and continues to draw persons who seek assistance? Well, you know something, it's a good magnet if that's the case, but we all know why this is being stated. This is being stated for purely political reasons. We all know that. You know, you don't have to, the emperor is not wearing clothes. How about the facility has led persons to establish residences? My goodness. How about whereas the reference facility is itself expensive to operate? For example, in terms of salary and benefits to employees. I don't believe anybody has that information, and I certainly don't believe that the supervisor has that information because, once again, is my understanding, he hasn't met with the county people. We have a letter that says that he should have met with people on this, and he hasn't done it. You know, the impacts of its placement. The impacts of its placement and the alternate, you know, Robert's rule says you can't interrupt me, so if you're going to do that, please just don't interrupt me. So the bottom line is, you know what I really like is how that the county, after all, you know, it's the removal of its facility and its relocation, because after all, it's off the tax rolls. Let me tell you something. There's probably very few people who are going to want to rent that or own that facility. and the county isn't going to be able to sell it. So it'll be an empty shell, and God knows we don't need another empty shell. This is a good building. The services that are provided are good services. We should be proud of the fact that these services are rendered to people who are indigent, who need help, who are down on their luck. I, for one, believe that it's an insult, and particularly with the organizations that are there. I know there's two individuals at the podium that I believe that will comment on this, and I thank them because I tried to move this matter up further in the calendar but was rebuffed. But that being said, I, for one, believe that this is an insult to the community. Pure politics, everyone, pure politics. And I know we're going to still see it because the primary is until September, so I'm sure this will be revisited several times until the correct
Okay, Liz.
soundbite is obtained.
This is a government expenditures in a public place. That's what we're debating now. Now, with respect
it's an
to,
insult.
pardon me, let's see, by letter dated April 14, 2011, to address to me as supervisor, County Executive Paul Eldridge writes the following. Dear Mike, Dr. Sharlita Amler, Commissioner of Health, has indicated that you have requested her appearance at a meeting tonight, which was that night, relative to, or at a work session prior to April 14, relative to the services provided at 121 Main Street in Brewster. I respectfully request that Dr. Amler and I be given an opportunity to meet with you, perhaps in my office, prior to such attendance at the town board at a later date. We'd be happy, as you know, to discuss any and all issues that may be of concern to you and or the town board. Additionally, as you know, the explanation of the establishment of a coordinated assessing unit is still in its formative stages, as I'm working with numerous town supervisors in addressing this issue in a way that would bring everyone on board. If you need something from me to present to your board, I'd be happy to do so. Since this is a sensitive issue, it would be suggested that any such discussion on this matter occur in executive session. That paragraph pertained to the tax assessment, not to the issue of relocating 121, just so you know. In any event, I have indicated to Dr. Amler not to attend tonight's meeting based upon the belief that we could get together here in Dr. Amler's office and then perhaps have a subsequent meeting at the town hall if necessary. Thanks for your understanding. Sincerely, Paul Eldridge, County Executive. Now, I have met with Paul, County Executive Eldridge, about this, and I can advise that the conversation is ongoing, and there is an open dialogue, and we are sharing information. So that's the status right now.
Right, if I could,
But we don't need the county's authorization to request them to relocate a county facility. We can do so on our own and equip ourselves with a unanimous voice regarding an issue of significance in our community. Now, that said, if there's no town board discussion, I'd like to recognize members of the public.
yeah, that's what I'd like to do.
Yes, ma'am. Well,
Can I just make one quick comment? Lady so.
go ahead, Roger.
CAP is a not-for-profit, so it's not a county agency. It's supported by grants otherwise, but it's not a county agency. It's a not-for-profit.
Thanks, Councilman. Yes, ma'am. Welcome. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Thank you. I'm Marla Baylor, and I'm a program coordinator at the Child Advocacy Center, which is located at 121 Main Street. This is Laura Roberts, who's a prosecutor who, with the DA's office, but is also housed at 121 Main Street with us at the CAC. And I just wanted to talk a little bit about some of the services we offer there, because I think a lot of people aren't even aware of what a Child Advocacy Center is or what we do or the purpose. And it really is truly a valuable resource here in Putnam County. And I want you to just bear with me as I read you something. And if you have any children in your life, grandchildren, niece, nephew, child, just think about them while I'm reading this. Imagine you are a 10-year-old boy or girl. You finally have the courage to tell someone, your best friend maybe, of the sexual abuse that has been a secret part of your life for the past few months. Imagine the abuser being your own father, a trusted family friend, or a coach whom everyone likes. Your best friend tells her mom, who then asks you to tell her what happened. She is scared for you and not sure what she should do. Imagine being called down to the school nurse after your friend's mom called someone she knew who works there. You are called down again a short time later to talk with a caseworker who came to the school. The caseworker was nice, but you had never talked like this with anyone before, and she was asking questions that were so embarrassing to answer. But now you were scared, and you were sure that everyone at school knew what was going on. Imagine going through the same thing all over again with the patrol officer who came to take a report, and then the next